just to give a few updates concerning especially the road network ongoing. Yes, many would know, especially coming out of the cul-de-sac basin, that the St. Peter's Road is open. It was a good job. Up to yesterday, they were still busy putting in the sidewalk and the bricks and upgrading and uplifting the whole infrastructure at that area. And I must say that they did live up to the time frame. When they told me 1 week, I said, I give you a month. So exactly within that month, the road has been completed. There's some cleaning that needs to go on still, and some little nicks and knacks they need to iron out still concerning the marking of the road, and also the connection of a few more homes, because you know the reason why the road was open for that long was to reroute the sewage network and the pipelines that was there, and it's being worked on right now. So I would like to really commend Kurt Rohan, because I think I was probably a bit harsh or hard on him to see it through and make sure that it was completed, and up to 11:30 minutes to 12 one night, we both, with the designer, with the contractor, was out and about on the road. I know Andrew Dick passed by and he saw us there and got a call from him. He's probably going to throw a question on that to me later concerning that. And yeah, you know, the whole thing was to make sure that it was done in a good manner, that the people of St. Peter's and the residents can be pleased and relieved right now concerning the traffic and the noise and the condition that that road was in. And again, it's a testament to what this government and the governing program is all about concerning sewage on St. Martin, and seeing that the residents in one particular area is connected to the sewage station, to the sewage house, that we can get under control the running water, the grey water, and the sewage water that runs on the road and that many households are facing. It is an ongoing process. We are working on it, but there's much more investment that needs to be done concerning that. And also Mount William Hill, we knew that a number of potholes also was done there, and I think Toncha Boncampo did an excellent job in our discussions when I told him I have a problem with patching of roads. If you would notice in the past, you would see them sort of mark out the road with a white line, and they would have one mark in here, one mark in there, and it would be the same stretch of road. What you're seeing right now is a more longer distance of the road being resurfaced, which I think would last much longer, and also would be an ease on the budget when it comes to the amount that is available for road surfacing. So I'm not saying that you wouldn't see patching still happening, but you would see much more in terms of resurfacing a length of the road. And we can also look at Corralito Road. I know a lot of people call and say, well, the bumps are too high and this is to that and that is to this. The fact of the matter that that road was in deplorable condition, and the whole road now is resurfaced. Lines will be put in, and the reason for the bumps is not that they are too high, is that over time before, the bumps were too low. With a constant traffic flow, it sort of wear down after a while. So the bumps came very low. So that's why people are now seeing the bumps as it is, and they're saying it's too high. It's not that it's too high, it's just that the road have been resurfaced and the bumps have been put in the proper manner or the proper height that they are supposed to be. How it was before was a bit wide and not to the right height, I was told. So, but there's still much more work to be done in that area. The drain has to go in, because they started with that drain also. And when we come to Walter Nisbet Road, it's the same thing. It has been resurfaced, especially coming from the Point Blanche roundabout area up to the police station. Lines will be put in. A lot of people call and ask, what happened to the line? What happened to the zebra path? I need to have a discussion with the police department, the gentleman responsible for it, because I keep always looking at the pedestrian crossing that it have right there. When you come from around the roundabout, you have to make an abrupt stop if someone want to cross the road because the zebra path is right there. So I'm sort of looking in to see if it can be a little further down so that when you, because most of the time when you come around the roundabout, you're coming with a certain speed because you have cars behind you, so you're coming with a certain speed around the roundabout, and then to make a abrupt stop right there is sort of an inconvenience for many of the drivers. So I don't know. We'll have to look at the traffic laws and the rules and see how that would work out. And again, I got to commend the staff down at the Vrummy department. Don't just really, Mr. Boncampa is really grabbing the bull by the horn because he has seen the little blockades that they have on the side. They are being painted right now. They are being cleaned up. And he's really looking into seeing that the whole side of the road is taken care of. But much more will be happening because it's a list of deplorable roads and areas that they will be going into, resurfacing, capping, and also some patchwork will be happening on some. To give an update on Waymont Hill, Mildron Drive, we spoke to the parties responsible. It is a private road. However, it's a very dangerous situation, the condition that it's in. And I know the advice was brought up to the ministry to have been signed off. And I know the parties right now are in the process of mobilizing to deal with the road at Mildron Drive. So again, I want to ask the residents and the people of St. Martin to have some patience when they see the road work is going on, and minimize the speed, because we also had a minor incident also on the St. Peter's Road where they thought it was open and a car just spun in with a speed and decided to drive up, and it was almost a bit crazy when we told him the road is not open as yet. So again, it's just a matter of being vigilant, and you will be seeing public works and windward roads in more areas. I know there's a lot more roads because I've been receiving a number of calls. The problem that we are having also is that most of those roads that are in deplorable condition, that are out of concrete, they are in private locations. They are private road. They are not government road. So we will have to come to some agreement with the residents where we can come to a partnership and see how we can tackle that situation. Billy Folly Road. I keep forgetting the name of the road in between where Philip Van Delden and the pharmacy is, where all that water is settled. That also has been signed off and out on tender, and the works on that will be started very soon. We are having a meeting with the Timeshare Association because when they heard that that road will be taken care of, they got sort of jealous and wanted to know, how can they assist and help with the continuation going right into Pelican, if I call it that way, but the name of that road is Billy Folly Road. So right now, those are the things that we are working on and we are completing. I had a discussion also with the SG and Court Rohan when I said, in the last 20 years, I believe I said 15 and he said, no, it's 20 years. St. Martin hasn't completed or started a new road network. And one of the roads that we are looking at seriously is Link 2. And Link 2 again is coming out on the side of Cake House. And if you look carefully, if you drive on Corralito Road and you look at the trench where the water comes down and go under the bridge, Corralito Road, the Seventh Adventist Church is on that side. You would see the undermining of the properties on that side with heavy flow of water. So trench also has to go in there, and it's something that needs to be done very soon. And also the cleaning of the mouth of the fresh pond. When you cross and you look across the street, you would see all the garbage that flows when we have a flood. It ends up right by the mouth of the fresh pond, so that will be cleaned very soon. I had a discussion with the Secretary General Louis Brown about that situation, and he's looking into it. So those are some of the things that we are working on right now. And also housing is a major concern, and we'll be having a discussion with the Housing Foundation very, very soon to see how we can move forward or what direction we are going to take with a number of projects, because those are two things I believe really should happen within this first year. A housing project should start, and also a road network that's on the books should also start, which is Link 2 and some housing. So that's the update I have right now that we are really, really working on. And again, I have to thank and say, I really appreciate the work that the departments are doing. They're really, really moving and trying to get things done. The staff at the Vrummy department, they're also very on point with the things that we are having discussions on. So again, I want to thank everyone. And again, have us in mind when the road works are going on, and be vigilant on the road, because again, it's all in the best interest. Thank you very much.
I'm happy to announce this morning that while some of you may be able to read it in the papers, those of you listening to the sound of my voice would know that an assignment agreement was signed, on Monday, to finalize the agreement to get the works moving at the Leonard Connor School, the critical upgrade, which we've been speaking about for quite some time. So the company that won the contract, the Hemco NV, Mr. Henry Frederick, signed the assignment agreement with me, as well as Mr. Kenrick Chittick, CEO of GEBE, in terms of the financial agreement to cover the finances for this upgrade, which is slated to begin as soon as the first transfer is made. I would like to thank, once again, the parents, students, management, and staff of the Leonard Connor School for their continued support. The end is near. Hopefully, we can see it coming. The contractor has promised 4 weeks, an accelerated program. We had initially told them 4 to 6 weeks once we commenced, but the contract clearly states 4 weeks, and so we're holding Hemco NV to that. We thank GEBE for their good corporate citizenship in providing the support needed to be able to carry out this upgrade as quickly as possible. Some of the other issues that have been mentioned by the management and staff at the Charles Leopold Bell School, where the Cycle 1 and the management is housed, have been addressed, some of them. I personally took a walkthrough yesterday with New Works department head as well as the contractor to ascertain what needed to be done, and was assured that within 2 weeks that everything would be finalized that had to be done, including the new basketball court and covered area at that location. That court, once it is finalized, will be unveiled, of course, and will be of a great benefit for the Cold Bay community, which has been waiting for that for quite some time. To address the other issues at other schools, because I know now many will say, okay, me now. This ministry is systematically looking to prioritize, or is prioritizing, all of the challenges where maintenance is concerned, but not just maintenance, but also looking at the levels of education, accountability on all levels, and will be working hand in hand with Division Public Education and the school's management to get these done. So we're looking forward for 2017 to be the turnaround year in terms of all areas within public education. Also from the Division Education Innovations, I've been talking over the past weeks about the iStep program. The team will be hosting a meeting with all the teachers that will be participating in the iStep pilot program this Thursday, February 2nd, tomorrow, at 1:30 p.m. right here at the Government Administration Building. The meeting is aimed to provide the teachers with information on iStep, give them a formal introduction to the devices that will be utilized in the pilot project, the trainings they will need to follow, and outline the tasks and responsibilities associated with being a pilot teacher in such a pivotal program to bring IT into our classrooms. Each public school has already identified the 2 pilot teachers and a backup teacher that will participate in this pilot training. If you would recall, those of you who were in previous press briefings, that there was an initial workshop held with the management teams so that they can really push the projects within their schools. We feel that we really need all hands on deck to be able to be successful in the implementation. The logo competition, the iStep team wishes to inform, is now officially closed, and that within 2 weeks the winners will be announced. The public is reminded to visit the iStep Facebook page in order to receive any and all updates on the iStep, as well as interesting information on the integration of technology in education. Please search for iStep SXM, like the page, and share it with your friends. From the Sports Department, the Department of Sports would like to inform that we are currently completed our first round of swim exams. As many may recall, since 2013, we have been executing exams within the schools. The government has been sponsoring the swimming program, which all grade 3 students in the subsidized schools on our islands take part. The exams this year took place at the Bel Air Pool on Monday and Tuesday, January 30th and 31st. And we are pleased with the number of students who have obtained their first swimming diploma, Diploma A. 592 students are currently in the swimming program, which started last September. 74 of these students came into the program already holding diplomas, so that shows at least that parents are doing their part. That left 518 students who did not have diplomas. However, 67 of them are already swimmers. 70 students obtained their diplomas in the 2 exam days recently concluded, and the remainder of the students will still have the opportunity later on this school year, before the end of the school year, to obtain said diploma. Of course, we're aiming for 100%, but as close as we get to that, of course, we'll be satisfied. Once the diplomas have been finalized by the department, they will be disseminated to the various schools and students. So this is one of the programs that we run on a yearly basis from within government's budget, and we're happy to see such a great success rate. On another note, I would like to request of the general public to be very careful in the use of the public facilities that have been made available. We have had to consistently spend a significant amount of money making repairs to the facilities, and specifically the basketball courts, because of vandalism. It is important for all of us as persons within the community to have access to these facilities, and this can only be possible if we as a community take responsibility and show care for what is made available. And I thank you in advance to continue to be vigilant in this. From the study financing, I think I misplaced that paper. I've taken note of complaints that are coming through the media, and I must say it's usually a shock, as it did not come through the department nor the ministry prior. And I believe that while I believe we as a community are much more vocal, this is a good thing. I believe we should follow the process, and only when there seems to be no way out, use the media as your outlet. So I would like to encourage the general public that any and all complaints, department-wise, division-wise, within the ministry, should be addressed directly to the ministry via the Secretary General, Yorin Waita, or myself, Minister Jacobs, here at the government building. At the end of this, I will be giving information how this can be done. The Youth Department is currently engaged in the preparation of a national comprehensive education vision called Opvoedvisie for St. Martin. This vision focuses on the nurturing and upbringing of children and youth on the island, and is part of the Action Plan for Children's Rights, which spans across Aruba, Curacao, St. Martin, the Netherlands, and the Best Islands, also by extension. To assist St. Martin in preparing and formulating the plans for this vision, UNICEF consultant Mr. Niels Kasberg is currently on the island to meet with various stakeholders of both public and private sectors. The outcome of these meetings will be used eventually to draft a proposal of the comprehensive educational vision. However, the preliminary findings and best practices will be shared at the conference on Bonaire in March of 2017 with the 4 countries. The wider community can also attend this two-day conference. Any individuals or groups wishing to participate in this conference can feel free to contact the Department of Youth Affairs. They also have a Facebook page as well. It must be noted that the participants are responsible to bear any and all expenses for this conference. As a matter of course, Mr. Kasberg has also requested meetings with the Council of Ministers and also with Parliament. However, due to the short notice, they will be of a very informal nature, as it will be just an information dissemination, and we look forward to receiving that from Mr. Kasberg, and thank the UNICEF representative for assisting St. Martin in this endeavor. To update the media and the general public, the current members of the cabinet of the Education Ministry, Education, Culture, Youth and Sports, is now completed. And I would like to inform that Dr. Under Soraya Agard Lake Senior Policy Advisor, Mr. Sandro Garcia, also Senior Policy Advisor. Ms. Fabiana Vanterpool Arnell joins us as Policy Advisor with a specific interest with culture and education. Ms. Francisca Martinberg as Executive Secretary, and Ms. Roylaika Roach, Public Relations Officer, Executive Assistant. I'm giving this information so that public knows how to contact us. As you know, all of the cabinet members and government is first name dot last name at stmartingov.org. The cabinet can be contacted via a temporary mobile number at 520-0285 or via email at francisca.martinberg@stmartingov.org or roach@stmartingov.org. Those will be disseminated to the media present in writing, and we can also disseminate that in writing to the rest of the media. So with this, I hope that the general public will understand how to get in contact with the cabinet should the need arise, and that the proper protocols are followed so that we can deal with issues before they become, out of hand.
I'd like to start by making two announcements. First announcement is that the Honorable Prime Minister, Mr. William Allen, is off island, attending some overdue matters. And the second announcement is a word of congratulations that I would like to extend to a policy advisor on my cabinet, Mr. Richnel Brug and spouse, on the addition to their family with a brand new baby boy. And I have in my notes another reason to make St. Martin safe. Because that's what we are doing it for. Some general information, some that had already been in the media. As far as the Justice Ministry is concerned, last week I met with Chief John of the police force and Chief Prosecutor Mr. Tom Mann, and we discussed the acute situation at the prisons and events surrounding it. At that discussion, it was decided that immediate action was needed and certain plans were put in place, also in connection with ongoing investigations. While I cannot elaborate on those plans and actions, I can say that the recent search at the prison was one of those actions. By finding the weapon, which has long been rumored to be in the prison, another potential major disaster has been averted. And actions will continue, and everything possible will be done to make the situation at the prison safe for the inmates and the workers working there and the community at large. I would like to congratulate Chief John and Chief Prosecutor Mann for a job well done, and thank all of those who participated and assisted, such as the Marines, the Justice K-9 unit, and the prison officers for their job well done. Another event was the armed robbery. And there we see, while I again cannot say much on that topic, but due to the cooperation with the public and a prompt response and quick action from the police, a number of robbers were apprehended. The police would take the lead in releasing information on this case, as it is an active, ongoing investigation. So I would suffice by just giving that information, but it was important to note that public involvement and quick action by the police led to the results of these culprits being apprehended. I also met I believe yesterday, with the Progress Committee. And the Progress Committee is the organization, is the team that was put together to evaluate the progress on the plans of approach. And as you know, there are still 2 plans of approach that are not finalized, which is the KPSM, the police, and the prison. And we had very good discussions and, on that, the status of events and what is being done to make sure that the things that are necessary are done. I said from the very beginning that especially the prison has high priority. Unfortunately, with some of the things, I cannot go much into details, but can rest assured that together with law enforcement, we have been from day one very active, very busy working on the situation with the prison. This was also discussed with the Progress Committee, the situation at the prison, and also was discussed the appointment of a St. Martin representative on the committee. Since my colleague, Minister Gibson, who was a member on that committee, became minister, St. Martin was had no longer a representative on that committee, which is not a good situation. So within a week or 2, I'm sure that someone would be appointed on the committee representing St. Martin. Just a brief note from the Ministry of TIAT. Later today, I will be meeting with SG Miguel de Weaver and Mr. Halley, the head of the Civil Aviation. And the purpose of that meeting would be to discuss the situation surrounding Insular. The situation surrounding Insular is having an impact on us here, and we need to assess exactly what that impact is and if we need to take some measures, some alternative measures. I remember a few weeks ago in attending the meeting in Aruba, I had to fly via the Dominican Republic with Power here? Yeah? And some members of my delegation had to go via Miami, and they left early in the morning and reach Aruba in the midnight. It's having its effect on air travel between the islands, so we need to look into the situation and see if there's anything need to be done from our side, anything can be done from our side, so that we can alleviate the issues.